Hi again, it's Ed Thurlow, and I started this YouTube channel today to share a little bit about our journey creating, germinating, however you want to look at it, this seed project, which we're really excited about to build this distributed library of the stories and seeds of our world, and then begin to come to a kind of consensus on what is worth preserving on this planet and where it should be preserved, and whether that's the life in terms of the biodiversity or the stories. For me, it's not for one person to decide what is worth preserving. It's a collective decision, and we're excited to start bringing that decision into popular culture. And so along this journey, it's all got to be fun for us. As it's like Alan Watts said, humans only suffer because they take too seriously what the gods made for fun. And it's really been my discovery on this journey that everything we do, even if it has an element of seriousness, because it's contributing to something remarkable or something that could change a lot of people's lives, has to be joyful and has to be heart-led. And so on that note, one of the things we really want to do with this channel is start sharing some of the stories that have made an impression on me on this journey and on other people we invite to the channel, whether they're conversations or me speaking to the camera. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to evolve. And I wanted to open up by reading the last chapter of this book called Return of the Bird Tribes by Ken Careys, called A Solar Age of Flowers. And this whole book really moved me, and I recommend it to anyone. It's a really remarkable bit of a piece of prehistory, one might call it. And I think now we're kind of coming to the end of this chapter of history. It's particularly poignant. And I will go on then. A Solar Age of Flowers. The conception of new life requires highly focused creative intention. It takes attention to detail of such a profoundly precise nature that were the focus dissipated among many cells simultaneously, the miracle of conception could not occur. Of the human body's 100 trillion cells, only 2 cells are initially involved in the conception of a child. You float in a galaxy of some 400 billion stars and many more matter worlds. Yet in this galaxy, only 2 worlds are required for the conception of new life. Do not be surprised when we who have roamed among these stars tell you that you are special, that you are precious, that you are so incredibly loved by the source of all that is, that your one earth and your one sun are conception points for the new life of worlds to come. Do not shun such love, or let narrow minds convince you it could not be. Accept this love. Feel it for yourselves. A gathering together and focusing of energies has been necessary to produce the awesome and incredible miracle that you are. The attention of the universe is focused on this earth. The universal mother herself is conscious in this world. The father of every star looks through the eyes of this one sun. Your earth has experienced human conception. Your race is about to awaken as the circuitry of consciousness, the global intelligence system of a planetary newborn that will be half star, half material world. I will tell you, I who am an angel of the winged tribes, I have been consciously creating beauty for 20 billion years, and I have never seen at any moment in all that time the potential that I see among you people at the close of the century upon this fair earth. I have seen many spirit beings throughout the stars, intelligent societies on the higher planes of many worlds, but they were not biologically incarnate. They had not entered so fully into material dress, or come to such intelligent terms with matter. Nowhere but here have I seen such exquisite, sensitive creatures of biology, such graceful men and women who exhibit your capacity. Do not let those of limited vision cheapen the miracle that you are living, or diminish your sense of value with their abstractions. The potential you embody is unprecedented. You are the first of species of material worlds, where the necessary balance is appearing to support the new blended consciousness, the consciousness that is at once both spiritual and material. No biological species before looked up of its own and taken charge of itself as an independent spiritual being. Nowhere else in this galaxy has the maintenance of this precise temperature zone resulted in a biological network of intelligent global species circuitry, simultaneously both spirit and matter. Never before did the biological creature choose as itself. Did the clay speak to us and say, I am a woman, I am a man, I am a tribe, a nation, teach me. O humans of this yet sleeping age, there is more, so much more. It is hard sometimes to place this awareness in your words, for your words are of only one dimension, of only one meaning at a time. And the wonderful living reality of this universe and the things of which we speak are multi-leveled, multi-dimensional, with reasons woven together like many streams and waters weave together in the larger truth of a river valley. There are many reasons why your world holds the attention of the universe. Your initiative, your capacity, your potential, what you have already demonstrated in your hours of vision and your nobility are some of the reasons. But your fall, your rebellion is yet another. For you see, once the egos of the warrior tribes ran off into the jungle, we knew that we were confronting in the womb, in the very moment of conception, certain fundamental issues that would have to be faced again and again on our future travels throughout the far-flung stars. We were confronting these issues on a miniature, symbolic level, and if we could get the mathematics worked out with precision on the very micro level of this earth, if we could use the value systems of the rebellious egos to convince them once and for all that every interest that they held vital would be served more effectively through their voluntary cooperation with the spirits of God. If we could convince them of that in their own egoic terms, and if that lesson could not only be learned but also recorded and imprinted indelibly upon the genetic structure of every cell in every existing and yet to be created organism of this new type, well then, do you see, the suffering of human history would be turned to advantage, for it would never have to be repeated. So long as this wondrous universe unfolds, human egos will face the same fundamental issues that you face today. Always they will have the choice to be ruled by what they love or by what they fear. The option to behave with excessive fear and the option to reject the input of their spirits will always be present. For human freedom of will is essential to the proper workings of the universal design. However, if there could be a documented case history of the inevitable sequence of events that occur when an ego or a tribe chooses a god of fear, and if this case history could be recorded in a genetic media presentation, narrated, as it were, by the egos who had themselves experienced history, then every ego skirting the edge of a fear-motivated decision could walk into the genetic media library and watch the DNA story of what happened here on Earth, observing what becomes of those who choose fear-centered behavior. They could watch a graphically illustrated story of what happens to those who ignore their natural design and misdirect their energy into cancerous and ultimately self-destructive behavior. The angels of conception, who are guiding universal development, seek to minimize suffering, your own suffering, and that of races yet to come. So you see, when your race fell, our attention gravitated here. Why allow dozens of worlds to experience the warfare, starvation, suffering, and deprivation that is born from the ego's rejection of their spirits, when one world would do? And if that one world were the source world, the point of conception for all similar life forms to come, then there would, after the lesson was learned, be a built-in genetic immunity to such disease in the future. You knew us once, O human ones, for the flicker of a millennium or two, when you first left the seas for inland lakes and river valleys. Only yesterday, it seems, to dress in human form and forget your spirit dreams. But it was time enough. We saw the sparkle in your eyes we recognized, and we knew we could never abandon you. We were patient when your ego-ruled ancestors ran off into the jungle night. We knew that someday your own intelligence would lead you to seek contact with us once again. We maintained the conditions that surrounded this egg of possibility. We held the earth carefully and assigned to her the brightest spirits. In this age, our patience is rewarded. There are those of you who at last look up and see beyond the microscopic interpretations of your egos. You perceive us. We communicate. We do what we can with the words of your ego-created languages, but it is like speaking with our hands through the movement of their shadows on cave walls, the fire of your interests flickering. Crude and primitive symbolism, these letters on a page, but a beginning. For as you sense the reality behind these words and follow the direction of our thought, there is movement in your life. You leave the cave of history's deceit and enter the sunlit garden that has ever been your true home. We are the pattern beings, the winged ones, the light bearers, coming now to consciously incarnate in your human fields. During the millennia of your unconsciousness, we obeyed your instructions. We maintained the precise temperature range that would produce for you a child, a species, a mingling of star and planet, an autonomous biological world, creature being of new and blended kind. The requisite human life forms now cover the earth. Their physical forms are complete. A 3.5 billion year creative process culminates in your awakening. The human information age explodes in unprecedented comprehension waves. Pulsing comprehension waves, flowing into a solar age of flowers. A star child rides the crest of light, and bathed in light is born in love, rejoicing. Thank you for listening.